Hello everybody, my name is Benjamin Bloom. Welcome along. This is the Benjamin Bloom Football Channel. Please leave your bias at the door and join us for Dearly Departed Round 9 review. Not all of the Premier League games have been played yet, but our 5 Dearly Departed teams have all finished. Some more successful than others on a pretty tricky week, let's just say. But we can go ahead, it's Monday lunchtime, and get this recorded, still in the knowledge that there are 2 Premier League games to play in the evening matches tonight. Before we go any further, we need to say thank you to Jay Coyle, dearly departed, also known as Ben. Couldn't bear to lose us marching on together. Jay is our dearly departed fan sponsor for the season. And a quick reminder, the dearly departed are the teams I have been covering in the Championship over the past 2 years that have got promoted and stayed there. So we're talking Villa, we're talking Sheffield United, we're talking Leeds, West Brom and Fulham. My apologies if that doesn't focus on your team and they're involved in one of these games. There are plenty of other channels you can watch on YouTube that will. Let's have a look at our results. Newcastle 0, Chelsea 2, Villa 1, Brighton 2, Spurs 2, Manchester City 0, Manchester United 1, West Brom 0, Fulham 2, Everton 3, Sheffield United 0, West Ham 1, Leeds 0, Arsenal 0, and Liverpool 3, Leicester 0, Burnley, Palace and Wolves, Southampton tonight. And you will notice that we had 4 defeats and a draw in there for our dearly departed. By the way, I'm going to start putting, after a few requests, the time codes for the chapters down in the description, which is easier for me than making clips. If you just want to watch the review of your team's game, you can click there. Obviously, I'd advise you to watch the whole thing, but we know time is precious and you may want to skip just to that. And with that being said, there is our first game, Villa 1, Brighton 2. I'm a bit disappointed with this one. I was all hyped up. I think I know where Villa sit in the Premier League hierarchy now. And I kind of confidently predicted a victory for Villa. But they come a cropper at home to Graham Potter's Brighton. There is the Villa team. Very, very settled. However, you will see the little red paramedic cross next to Ross Barkley, who only lasts 5 minutes in this game. That will be a worry for Villa, and I wonder how much it contributed to their defeat in this game. Otherwise, all as you were. Martinez, Cash, Cons and Mings target, Louise and McGinn, Grealish, Barkley started at 10. He's going to be replaced by Bertrand Traore on 5, Trezeguet off the right, and Watkins up top. Correct me if I'm wrong, Villa fans. I would assume that Traore just sat in the number 10 position in the same shape, but let me know in the comments if it's anything different. Brighton with the sort of modern 3-4-3 type system that we see a lot. Ryan in goal, White, Dunk, Webster, Lamptey and March are the wing backs, Bissouma and Gross with Lallana ahead of them, Welbeck and Mopai up top. Should be a good matchup for Villa, you would have thought. But they go behind to a Danny Welbeck goal. Lovely little dink. He runs through from halfway. Villa get really caught out. But you have to hold your hands up, even if you're a Villa fan, and say that that's a nice run in and dinked finish by Welbeck, who seems to have been around forever and still doing it now in the Premier League with Brighton. Here is the equalising goal. The Villa centre-backs have been good for a goal or an assist, haven't they? Mings and Konza, and set play whipped in from the left. They lose Konza on the back post. He finishes it really well. That's kind of on the half volley. The ball's come a long way and he's sliding as well, which mitigates the fact that it's close range. I think that's a good bit of finishing by Konza for 1-1. But Villa can't capitalise on that and go on and get the win in the second half. In fact, they're going to go under to this goal from Solly March. It's been played across from the right-hand side of the box. March arriving, he uses the pace that's already on the ball and just guides it into that top corner. It's a good finish. Space to Martinez's left, but his positioning is by no means suspect there. It's a very good finish by March, as was the first goal by Welbeck. So Villa were suckered by 2 good bits of finishing. That is Tariq Lamptey. He's second to the ball with Jack Grealish. I mean, players need to learn that Grealish nearly always gets there first, doesn't he? Treads on Grealish's foot there and Grealish goes down. Second yellow card. So Villa playing against 10 to finish the game. And then we get March and Trezeguet and the big VAR issue. So, as I understand, on first look, this was given as a penalty by referee Oliver. I think it was, wasn't it? And then he goes over and looks at the monitor and then rescinds his decision. Forget the decision. I'll talk about that in a sec. This is what we wanted, referees having the opportunity to check contentious, possibly, decisions. And we're now seeing more of them going and checking the monitor. That's a good thing. Now, did he get the decision right or wrong? Pass. I don't want to plead the fifth on that. So Trezeguet steps inside March. March extends the right foot, doesn't play the ball, makes contact with Trezeguet, and Trezeguet goes down. We have this conversation every week. Was contact proportional to bring the player down? No. Does that matter? Well, we don't think so anymore. Do we want to see penalties is this the standard now? If you just are challenging and you touch somebody, that's now a penalty. I'm not sure I want that to be the standard for a penalty to be given. However, were I a Premier League football player, having seen a lot of penalties given like that, were I Trezeguet and I felt that contact on my shin, would I go down? Yes, probably, coming inside on my left foot in a crowded penalty box. So, I don't know. I really don't know, guys. You let me know your thoughts in the comments. Please don't just, if you're a Villa fan, say it's a penalty, and if you're not, say it's not. Let's have a think about this, because the issue to me is all contact in the box now a penalty? Because I think that's the standard. If it is, then that's a penalty. Or does there still have to be the element of it actually having to be a foul and, firm contact? Not necessarily contact proportional to bring the player down, but a hindrance to the other player. Is March's contact a hindrance to Trezeguet? There's a slight tap, and then March pulls his foot away. Could Trezeguet have continued? Probably. I don't know. It's a really tough one. I'm not sure going forward that we want all of these challenges to all be penalties, but I can understand the consistency argument that some are given and some aren't. What we do know is that referee Oliver thought it was initially, and then with the benefit of a TV replay changed his mind. So he obviously saw not enough to give it on the basis of the replays. And again, if you're a Villa fan, try and put frustration aside, because obviously you want it to be given and the penalty to be scored late on in the game and a defeat to be avoided. But I don't know, feels like a very complex debate on that one, doesn't it? That really I don't know the answer to. So you hit me up in the comments if I'm not sat on the fence too much. There are the numbers. 55-45 possession to Villa, 15 shots to 7, 4 shots on target to 3, 12 corners to 3, 4 big chances to 3 is revealing, because Villa conceding big chances despite, in the main, looking at those numbers, being on top. So some good and bad in there from a Villa point of view. The finishing from Brighton was good, particularly for the 2 goals, but still to have conceded the 3 big chances will be disappointing. However, if you were a Villa fan, forget the penalty and the VAR, because essentially that's something that didn't happen. A penalty did not get given, so we can't class that as a big chance. But we can look and say 4 big chances created, 3 missed, hit woodwork. Enough to get something from this game? Probably. Sustainable still in the Premier League? Yes, but Brighton are down the bottom and it's a home defeat there. So some good, some bad, really, in terms of analysis. You let me know how you're feeling after that as a Villa fan. I think you could be glass half full, glass half empty, either one, depending on your own personal take, really, on that one. Villa still up there in 7th. Nice. Bit stripy on the form, though. Now, look, win, loss, win, loss going on. Brighton in a different bracket to Villa. Look, 15 points for Villa, 9 for Brighton. So a little bit disappointing. And as I say, I'd gone in with the prediction for a Villa victory. So look, big picture, Villa are doing fine. Plenty of signs of sustainability. Disappointing. On the day, could it have gone another way? Yes, of course it could. Some good finishing. Penalty decision is, we're talking millimetres now or inches as to when the contact hits and how hard it is and whether that warrants it to be a penalty or not. Get your comments in on all of that stuff for me, guys. But compared to what we're about to talk about, for certain teams in the dearly departed, I'd be pretty happy still if I were a Villa fan. Let me know if you've got any information on Ross Barkley as well, because that could be a problem for Villa coming forward. And let me know how you think that might affect them if he is out for a while. Again, I don't know what the situation is there, so let me know if you're more clued up, which a lot of our Villa watchers will be, than I am. Moving on, Leeds 0, Arsenal 0. We did this one on the watch along. Thank you for everybody who joined me on this one. I think 3,000 views on there, so really still the audience for Leeds fantastically supportive of the channel. Calvin Phillips returns. Great news for Leeds. He sits in front of, well, what is a slightly different back four on the basis that there's a hole in central midfield. So Stuart Dallas, the normal left back, fills the central midfield hole. Alioski then starts the game. Harrison, Dallas, Click, and Rafinha, who interests me a lot. Remind me to talk about him at the end of the game with Pat Bamford up top as ever. Arsenal, Leno, Bellerin Holding, Gabriel Tierney, Ceballos and Xhaka, Pepe, Willock, Willian, and Aubameyang up top. I suppose a sign of respect for Leeds and Bielsa. Often we see Lacazette and Aubameyang starting as well. England's Saka and Maitland-Niles also on the bench. And here we go with a review that could have been for any one of about 15 or 20 that's a bit harsh. 10 or 15 games for Leeds in the Championship under Bielsa, where they had a really decent game, created a lot of chances, but didn't win. Here is Pat Bamford, decent effort there, improvising. Leno, who I was impressed with, actually, the Arsenal goalkeeper, he had a good game, gets down to make the save. Here is the controversial incident. And Nicolas Pepe, do you know nothing about Alioski? Because, look, we know he's a spiky character. We know he'll yap on the pitch and get involved. And Pepe bit and he fell for it. Silly boy. In with the headbutt there. And again, you talk about VAR. A lot of people criticise it and never praise it. Look at this. Referee back turned whilst the violent conduct offence is happening. He has his attention drawn to it, goes and looks at the screen and makes the decision. So if you're going to constantly criticise VAR, I think that's silly because it's clearly working very well in this specific instance. As always, this channel, I would like people to debate things in respect of the rules, because a lot of times the only thing people mention when they're debating a decision is, it's kind of coloured by which team they support. And you'll get Leeds fans going, it's a red card. Arsenal fans going, it's never a red card. Well, let's read the rules, the laws. Violent conduct is when a player uses or attempts to use excessive force or brutality against an opponent when not challenging for the ball, or against a teammate, team official, match sponsor, spectator, any other person, regardless of whether contact is made. In addition, a player who, when not challenging for the ball, deliberately strikes an opponent on the head or face with the hand or arm is guilty of violent conduct unless the force used was negligible. Looks a fairly cut and dried one, doesn't it? I know headbutts are mentioned elsewhere in the rules there. It's just silly from Pepe, and I think it meets the violent conduct criteria. And I think the VAR works well because, again, look at referee Taylor. His back is turned. There's no way he could have seen that. You can't hold him to account if he misses it. He goes, he looks, as Gary Neville said in the commentary. One look, off he goes. Silly boy Pepe, red card. Now, here come Leeds, attack, but not able to score in this game, sadly for them. Dallas shot. Again, I was impressed with Leno. Good save to his right there. Rodrigo comes off the bench. How unlucky is this? Look, curling shot, edge of the box, under pressure. Look where it hits. Where the crossbar and post meet. So unlucky there. That's Pat Bamford. Headed down into the corner. Leno, is he gonna make the save? It's very difficult sometimes when the keeper's hand comes between the ball and the post. I will give Leno credit yet again for the third time in this video for having an excellent game. I don't know whether he may save that, but still unlucky right in the corner and on the post. A bit of a heart-in-mouth moment for Leeds as Arsenal counter. And how often have we seen Leeds in this position where fullbacks way forward and two centre-backs against a charge down the middle of the pitch. Saka is in and frankly should score. He's an England quality play, just has a bad touch to his left-hand side. Gives Meslier the chance to make the save. Credit to Meslier, does really well, but the forward in that position should make the advantage count. Obviously, he's a wing back, and maybe a striker would score from there. But big chance. Here is Raphinha. Now, this is the one where I'm not going to say unlucky, and I'm not going to say the keeper's going to save that. The keeper is not going to save that, is he? It's he's kind of crouching to make the save, and if that is just a little few inches across, that clips the inside of the post and goes in the top corner for Raphinha. So that is the one I don't think that Leno is going to save. So unlucky there, Raphinha. Outside of the post, he misses. Inside of the post, he scores. It is what it is, and it just wasn't Leeds' day. There are the numbers to tell us, God, look, 25 shots, 4 on target. Obviously, remember, hit woodwork doesn't count as shot on target. So 4 on target plus 3 hitting the woodwork as well. And we don't need to go too much into this. It's a very straightforward narrative in this one. Leeds were good. Leeds used the ball well. Arsenal were reduced to 10 men. Leeds forced decent chances. How many big chances? 2 big chances as well as the 3 hitting the woodwork. And if their finishing is slightly better or they get a little tweak of luck on a couple of chances, they win the game. Arsenal, yes, they did have a man sent off. They did have that one big chance there for Saka on the counter-attack as Leeds are piling forward. Look, that's Leeds. The fullbacks are always going to get caught out at least once a game. It's just the way they play. And I think in terms of the risk to reward, it gives you a lot more than it takes away in terms of conceding chances. So, look, big picture for Leeds. This is straightforward. That was a good performance. And let's play really big picture. This is Arsenal as well. Arsenal is a huge club, established Premier League club. They're coming to Elland Road. They're not going with Lacazette and Aubameyang. So a lot of respect paid there. And, they're getting away with a point, and it's a good result. Leeds keep the clean sheet. And Raphinha comes into the team. Rodrigo returns. Phillips returns. Big picture, if I'm a Leeds fan with this, I'm slightly irritated that they didn't win. However, big picture, you have to be happy with where Leeds are, how they've settled in the Premier League. And earlier in the season, I was talking about sustainable form. This is it all over, isn't it? It's decent. And teams like Arsenal, who are expected to challenge for the top 6 or the top 4, are coming to Elland Road and leaving happy with a clean sheet and a point. So I just wanted to talk about Raphinha as well. Interested. Look, there was a bit of Leeds fans getting carried away with Raphinha. Oh, Benny's the best thing ever. Look, he's going to be amazing. Look, one game, some nice touches. What I'm interested in your guys' opinion on is it doesn't look like he's been Bielsa'd yet, as in he looks like he's playing off the cuff, trying stuff, balls around the corner, tricks, step-overs. Obviously, Pablo Hernandez has been the fantasy player for Leeds who's done that. And even someone like Costa, who was, very, ambitious in his play at Wolves, has calmed into this efficient right winger. And efficient is the word with Bielsa. I wonder whether Leeds can benefit from a player who's a bit unpredictable and can do these things, or whether you'd like to see Raphinha be honed like a Harrison or a Costa has already. I'm interested in that because there were some raw, rough edges that we just don't see from Leeds players because everyone is so beautifully trained by Bielsa. So I'm interested in watching how Raphinha goes. Does he stay a bit of an unpredictable diamond in the rough, or is he trained into a honed Bielsa player? And can the combination of both be even better than either one of the things? Let me know what you think about Raphinha in the comments. But look, I'd be pretty happy with this were I a Leeds fan here, big picture. And lots and lots of signs of sustainability going forward and good work being done at Leeds, despite the absence of that victory. Leeds 0, Arsenal 0. It was Fulham 2, Everton 3. So we've had our one draw from the dearly departed. Now we're into more defeats, sadly. Fulham 2, Everton 3, like I said, and Fulham leaking 3 goals in the first half in this one against Ancelotti's Everton, who had been on a little losing streak, hadn't they? And they are now going to return to winning ways at the Cottage. Areola in goal, Robinson, Adrabio, Anderson, Iain. Good news that that's settled. Lamina and Harrison in front. So the system's settled, even though we have seen maybe Anguissa in there a couple of times, different players. Lookman, Kearney, Bobby Reid. Cavaliero up top, I assume Mitrovic not fully fit if he is not starting for Fulham. So that's the good news for Fulham. Things are starting to settle. They look more competitive. Is it going to be enough? You know, when we look at the table, well, we'll talk about that. At the end, Everton, well, look, Pickford, Godfrey, Mina, Keane, hugely expensive now team this one. Iwobi, Dinho's going to have a good game. Alan, Decore, and then the front three, James, Rodriguez, Calvert-Lewin, Richarlison. This is a expensively assembled team of good players with an elite manager managing them. Here's Calvert-Lewin with the opener. I'm not sure how he scores this. Look, his right foot is behind him. He kind of bundles it in. I think it must hit him 3 times before it goes in. But that's either very clever or he just kind of manages to get enough body parts in the right direction to get the ball over the line. But Fulham, architects of their own downfall there. I think Bobby Reid gives the ball away in the build-up to that. However, Tom Kearney's just slipped him in and he makes a very decisive, dynamic run into the box there and finishes wide of Pickford with his right foot. So they get back into the game, scoring goals at least, Fulham, but they are leaking them. And that is Calvert-Lewin again scoring. And I don't know. You tell me, Fulham fans, about Iain. Sometimes it's easy to point the fingers at the right back. I know he scored that worldy goal, didn't he, against West Brom? But all of the goals seem to come down his side. Whether that's he's not protected in front, I don't know. You tell me in the comments, why did all the Everton goals crossed in from that side? And Calvert-Lewin, look, it's that striker, isn't it? Play the width of the penalty box, make sure your movement's good and you score high percentage chances. And if the team are creating like Rodriguez was pulling the strings and, the chances are there, Calvert-Lewin's just banging the goals in. And there you go again. Exactly the same for 3-1. Decore here. Exactly the same thing. Rodriguez an even better pass out to the left. It's Dinho again. And Decore arriving for 3-1. So you let me know why Everton were able to score 3 goals, all with crosses from a narrow left-sided position there from a Fulham perspective. Oh dear. We saw Ademola Lookman try and dink a penalty for Fulham, didn't we, in the last game, decisively, and he has that one saved. A little bit more irrational bad luck here, but, well, you tell me, is it bad technique when someone falls over from the spot? Doesn't look wet there, does it? Cavaliero falls over as he's taking it and skies it over the top. I think I remember was talking about the John Terry penalty. It might have been Frank Lampard talking about it, saying there was actually a flaw in technique with how Terry positioned his foot to take penalties. So, I don't know. Is it bad technique or is it bad luck? Who cares? The penalty didn't go in. And for the second game running, Fulham are going to not score a penalty and lose by 1 goal. So, you can argue that as a mitigating factor now in 2 consecutive games for the Cottagers. Ruben Loftus-Cheek scores a deflection there, but still, in terms of Fulham attack-wise, they scored 2 goals and missed a pen in this one, so they'll be reasonably happy with that. Obviously, 3 goals going in the other end isn't the one. There are the numbers. Look, 14 shots forced by Fulham, 3 big chances as well for the Cottagers. So, games won't always be this open, but if I'm looking for some positives for Fulham, they're creating chances and scoring goals, if not penalties. Creating penalties, 2 in the last 2 games, not scoring either of them. And the team looks settled and the system looks settled, which is more than we can say for the 2 teams we're about to talk about in West Brom and Sheffield United. So some signs of positivity. Is it going to be enough to keep them up? Pass. The bad news, though, is that Everton creating 4 big chances and scoring 3 goals and, that sort of deja vu goal down the left-hand side and crossing in just over and again in this game 3 times and 3 goals by the first half. Not good. That happened in the game against Villa where they'd... Oh, no, it was 3 just after half-time. But you take my point. Pretty much done by half-time in terms of defensive performance. So... And it's really bad down at the bottom of the table. If you look there over on the right-hand side as you look. 1, 2, 3 and 4 points for the bottom 4 after 9 games. Yes, Burnley do have 2 games in hand. We are recording on Monday lunchtime. So hopefully I've accentuated the positives for Fulham. There are still negatives. You let me know in the comments if you're a Fulham fan how full your glass may or may not be. Manchester United 1, West Brom 0, and some more VAR fun with some penalties and the like in this game. Bilic going with, a back 5 or 3 at the back, use whatever term you're comfortable with. Johnston in goal, Furlong, Ajayi, Ivanovic, Bartley and Townsend there are the defenders. Gallagher remains in midfield, Kravinovic out, Sawyers in, which means Pereira and Diangana return with Carl and Grant. We've and ahed about systems and strategies. Well, I want to see Diangana, Pereira and Grant on the pitch. I want to see them close together. Nice to see Sawyers in, so good in the Championship. Let's see how it goes and will Bilic stick with it now. I just want him to just stick with something now and hope that the results come. Manchester United there, De Gea, Telles, Maguire, Lindelof, Wan-Bissaka, Fred, Matic, Rashford, Fernandes, Mata, Martial. It's just, when we talk about, and I read off these, often the front 3s as well for these higher up teams than our dearly departed. It is frightening what these Premier League clubs have at their disposal. Martial, however, not taking a huge chance there in the first half. Middle of the goal. Can't find the corner. Good save. Johnston. And here we go again. And it feels like exactly the same conversation with the Aston Villa and March and Trezeguet as it is with Gallagher and Fernandes. And I really don't want to sit on the fence, but it's exactly the same thing. Is there contact? Yes. Is it proportionately enough to bring Gallagher down? No. Does that matter? No, because intent or impedance is the issue here, isn't it? Not you know what I'm saying, don't you? Intent is you can have somebody make what is a foul tackle, not touch the player, and it be given. I remember one with Steven Gerrard at Bramall Lane years and years ago that he had to move out the way. Therefore, that doesn't mitigate it actually being a foul. Does Gallagher have a right to go down when he feels contact? Well, other players do. Why can't he? Do we want this to be the standard for penalties given? Is all contact when a challenge is made in the box a penalty. I don't want that to be the case, but we need to be consistent. It needs to be said in the laws, contact in the box does not necessarily automatically mean a penalty. Is the VAR working in the right way in terms of the process? Yes, it is. Ref gives decision, he goes and has a check. And is it or isn't it? Again, let's try and be above. Look, if you're a West Brom fan, you automatically say it's a penalty, because then all of a sudden we lose credibility in the debate, don't we? If all West Brom fans say it's a penalty, then, you know, can we say that that's a fair and credible analysis here? So let's try and be open. It might be that all West Brom fans do, with no hint of bias, think that it is a penalty. I don't know. I don't want this to be the standard. As I said with the Aston Villa one and March and Trezeguet, I don't want a penalty to be given every time someone makes a challenge and contact is facilitated or drawn. Use whatever word you're comfortable with. I don't want it to always be a penalty, because then all the attacking player then has to do is manipulate the ball away from a player, not even to create a chance, wait for contact and throw themselves down. I don't think that should be a penalty. I'm not saying this is in this case, but you tell me in the comments, is there enough for it to be a spot kick? I have to say, in both of the instances, Trezeguet and March and Fernandes and Gallagher, I'm not sure I want this to actually be a penalty, because, as I say, you know, is that why foul laws were brought in, so players could, you know, wait for contact in the box and go down? But looking for consistency, do we see these given? Yes, we do. So it's so complex. All I will say is the process of the VAR is fine by me, that they're going and checking. That's good. You know, we want decisions to be checked, and these are qualified refs that know the laws better than we do and know what they're being asked to give by the Premier League. Is it a penalty or not? I don't know. Who knows anymore? Debate it in the comments is all I will say. It didn't get given. Move on, sadly. And Townsend, huge chance there. Maybe you want that to fall to Diancana, Pereira or Grant, but good save, De Gea. Obviously, we need to weigh that out. Martial did miss the other big chance that we've shown. And then down the other end, and this is where, you know, look, I'm getting comments in my stream yesterday, you know, the FA is corrupt. The league's corrupt. The referee is corrupt. No. None of those things are true, I don't think. Did a lot of irritating decisions slightly go against West Brom? Yes, in this game. And when I say against West Brom, I mean subjective decisions that could be called either way. Not that they were wrong decisions, but tight decisions went against West Brom. Yes, it is irritating, because it feels like three tight decisions. Well, I actually don't think this one is a tight decision. I think that is handball. I think there's enough distance between Mata and Furlong. I think Furlong's gone with his head, in which case does his arm need to be there, and obviously misses with his head and goes with his arm. So I do think this is a penalty. I don't think this is a tight decision. And then we go with the feet off the line. And look, I don't want to irritate West Brom fans, but that's illegal, what Sam Johnston's doing. You look, Fernandes hasn't yet touched the ball. Johnston was complaining on Twitter yesterday. He does a hop, skip and a jump. I think the laws say as long as he doesn't stop, that's okay. So goalkeepers are going to have to get used to these players that try and disguise their shape with the hop. That's the player taking a risk that's within the rules. And I'll just draw your attention back to a penalty shootout. Do you remember Juventus and Milan, where this law has been not officiated properly for years now? And yes, it's annoying that there's probably examples you can show me of West Brom having penalties saved against them where the keeper's got his feet off the line. Sorry, it is what it is. They're now clamping down on it now, and I'm afraid that is an infraction. You have to have part of your, I don't know what the wording is, but you have to have part of your feet on the goal line as the kicker kicks the ball. And we need to get away from wrong decisions, bad decisions, as opposed to tight decisions and irritating decisions. Yes, it's irritating. The penalty one with Gallagher, far more so, I have to say. But this should be retaken by the letter of the law. Look, we're not talking about a millimetre off the line. He's off his line. He dives to his left. That narrowing of the angle gives him an advantage. It's an infraction. Is it irritating for West Brom? Yes. Have all the tight decisions gone against West Brom? Yes. Can we argue one of them might have been wrong in the penalty? Yes, we can. But the handball and this, I don't think you can complain about, honestly. Is it annoying? Yes. But is it the law? Well, yes. So he's going to have another go. And he goes the other way and spot the ball there in the back of the net. And Fernandez scores. Oh, God. And just when it couldn't get more irritating for you if you're a West Brom fan, look at that. Curler from Robinson hits the crossbar. De Gea's not getting that, is he? He's leaping across. But unlucky game. It just is, isn't it? And let's get away from corrupt and blaming VAR. It's just a tight game with one goal in it that went for Manchester United and didn't go for West Brom, did it? 3 big chances to 1. West Brom could have scored. Manchester United could have finished better. But I think people will look in isolation at the Gallagher penalty that could have been given and wasn't. That's the one I think you can question. But when we're talking about consistency, the Villa one didn't get given. If the Villa one had got given and this one hadn't got given, I would be up in arms for West Brom fans. I would say that is inconsistent. 2 on the same day. But the officials have been consistent here and not given either of them. And they're very similar incidents. They've gone and checked the monitors. I just think my overriding emotion, if I were a West Brom fan, would just be irritation with this, because it feels like you just want a little bit of luck. And the handball, Furlong, move your hand. Johnston, stay on the line, make the save. Robinson, don't hit the bar, just a few inches lower and it's in. And can that chance not fall to Connor Townsend and fall to Matt Pereira? And West Brom score in this game. And it just feels like a few of those factors went for Manchester United and against West Brom. So some signs of viability, but look, it's no wins in 9 now. And for all my apologising for West Brom, they haven't won a game yet, have they? 3 points in the bottom 3. And the only bonus here is the tide is low. But you just worry if Burnley, win 1, draw 1, win 1. They'll disappear into the distance, the rate that Sheffield United and West Brom and Fulham are scoring points, won't they? So that is the worry. Let me know what you think if you're a West Brom fan. Freedom of speech, I agree with. I'm just making a suggestion here. Can we get away from the corrupt and robbed and all of that nonsense and analyse the decisions for what they were? And if you think it was a penalty, fine. But let's just try and discuss in a reasoned way. And yes, I can totally understand West Brom fans being infuriated and maddened by this game, which they seem to have lost quite unluckily, with a few little tight things just going against them. And I will reiterate, by tight, I don't mean wrong. I mean tight. Things that could have gone for them that didn't. Shall we move on? Because I'm winding myself up talking about West Brom. God knows what it must feel like to be a West Brom fan. Probably slightly better than being a Sheffield United fan at the moment. It's going so badly for Sheffield United. Still, 9 played, no wins, 8 defeats, 1 draw. And the worry now is we see teams get into these ruts and they just cannot get out of them. Despite having an excellent manager in Chris Wilder, a great pattern of play, some good players and a lot of success over the last 3 years particularly. How do you get out of this now? It's Sheffield United 0, West Ham 1. Ampadu comes in. I assume Ender Stevens is injured. Let me know in the comments there. Lowe plays at wing back. We are going back to what got Blades here now. Look in that team. Basham, Egan, Fleck, Norwood, Baldock, McGoldrick. How many was that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of the players that got them there now being used. I suggested, is that a way Wilder could go? He's tried it. It didn't work. McBurney up top with McGoldrick, and Berger is the extra midfielder, and Ramsdale in goal. You would argue you're adding an expensive striker, an expensive midfielder, and an expensive goalkeeper when in the past, that's been Dean Henderson on loan. That's been Billy Sharp up top, or Gary Medine even on loan. So these are players that had to come in. They go up against West Ham, who are doing quite well actually now, aren't they? Fabianski in goal, Balbuena, Ogbonna, Cresswell, Kufal and Masuaku are the wing backs. Rice and Souček, that's good quality. Bowen, Haller, Fornals up top. Before we point out the Sheffield United big chance miss, there was a big chance for West Ham there, missed by Souček. Give Ramsdale some credit, he makes himself big, but come on. Souček has to score, or he can knock that. Who is that? Is that Jared Bowen arriving? Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments. So big chance for West Ham before the goal, and you're just getting punished, Sheffield United, every week now. It's the edge of the box. Is it a big chance? No. There's pressure on the shooter from Norwood. Is that a captain's armband I can see? Sorry if I've got that wrong. Blurry picture. Everything looks okay. You could have done with someone closing the ball down from ahead, but Ramsdale's got a clear look, and then where does Haller put it? He puts it right in the top corner, and that's the way it's going for Blades. They're being punished at the moment, aren't they? And that's the only goal of the game, and there is the big chance for Sheffield United. McBurney obviously should score there. I'm trying to weigh it out and be balanced by saying Souček had a big miss as well. But let's play context. It's 1-0. The game is ebbing away. And McBurney's got to score that, hasn't he? He really has to. And these things just aren't working for Sheffield United at the moment. Look at the numbers. 5 shots on target to 3 in Blades' favour. 50-50 on the possession. 2 big chances apiece. 5-17 to 4-9-7 on the passes. It's just a really tight game. 2 big chances missed by Souček and McBurney. Haller sticks one in the top corner, and Sheffield United lose again. They're just not winning any tight games at all, or getting stuff from tight games. Lost 8 games now. I don't know. How do you feel as a Sheffield United fan? Is it that this will turn, or is it going to get worse? And from going from being in games, the confidence will ebb away, and the losing run continues. It's worrying. And look at the bottom of the table there. That's whatever mitigating factors you can use. Egan's red card at Aston Villa way back when. David Luiz not being sent off against Arsenal. Even I can argue it in this game, a tight game, losing it at home. I did a watch along for the Leeds game. That was a tight game at home. Lost 1-0. The draw was against Fulham, wasn't it? And they did concede a penalty and get away with that one in that game. So, look, West Ham up in 14th. Good for them, but we're looking at dearly departed here. And just tell me, Sheffield United fans, where is the win coming from? How is it going to come? Is it going to be that it has to be the bedrock of Egan and Basham, Baldock, Ender Stevens, Dave McGoldrick, with Fleck and Norwood in midfield, and just keep doing what they do, keep the system. And it was good enough last season. It was good enough in the Championship, wasn't it? So, oh dear. It's a difficult one, isn't it? But not good at all for Sheffield United. Get your thoughts in the comments on another defeat. So there's the table. Villa flying the flag for the dearly departed in 7th. Looking sustainable with a game in hand. Yes, it is against Manchester City. Leeds, I'm happy with, and I'm sure their fans are happy. Didn't get the win against Arsenal, but the key word again for Villa and Leeds, it's the Premier League. It's the dearly departed. They're teams that have come from a lower division. They're not elite teams yet. Maybe big clubs, a couple of them. But sustainability I see from Villa and I see from Leeds. Looking lower down, I'm not seeing it from the other teams, I have to say. Fulham, West Brom and Sheffield United, 1, 3, 8 points between them in 9 18, 27 games is really, really low tide there. And the hope is that Brighton and Burnley get dragged into this muck at the bottom of the division. The worry is that Brighton and Burnley don't. There is no pickup from our 3 dearly departed teams, and that ends up being the bottom 3, which would suck, wouldn't it, to talk about every week? So the glass half full says Fulham are hopefully settling. Can they pick up? Who knows? West Brom, are they now going to stick with 3 at the back with Diane Garner, Pereira and Grant, with Sawyers and Gallagher? Is it going to work? I don't know. Sheffield United, are they going to stick with what they're doing and something's going to change? Something has to give in one of those 3 clubs, or the losing is going to continue. Let me know what you think in the comments. Up next, Palace, Newcastle, Brighton, Liverpool, Man City, Burnley. There's our first dearly departed game. Everton versus Leeds. Difficult. Ancelotti versus Bielsa. We love it. West Brom versus Sheffield United. There you go. I've answered my own question there, and we will be doing the watch along for that. 8 p.m. next Saturday night. Massive game. Massive chance for one of those 2 teams to get the first victory. If you lose that game, it looks dire. If you win that game, can you push on? Or will we get a massively unhelpful draw? Someone needs, and I repeat, needs to win that game. Southampton, Manchester United, Chelsea, Tottenham, Arsenal, Wolves. Leicester versus Fulham is the 5:30 game. And I will be watching West Ham versus Aston Villa at 8 o'clock. So for Dearly Departed, if you want to join me for one of the 2 watch-alongs, we'll be here at 7:45 ahead of West Brom Sheffield United on Saturday night, and 7:45 ahead of West Ham Aston Villa on Monday night. Hope that all makes sense. As I said, I'm going to stop clipping these videos now. I had a few complaints from people. There was too much stuff going into their notifications, and as I was trying to clip every single one. And I kind of understand that, actually. I think I will do it this way. So we're going to try and put the time codes in the in the description. I realise me saying at the end of the video, that's a moot point because you've obviously watched the whole video now. But if you are short of time, I would love you to watch the whole video, but there will be, if you just want to watch your team, time codes there. One more thank you to Jay, our fan sponsor, Dearly Departed, also known as Ben. Couldn't bear to lose us. We thank Jay for his support for the channel, and you can support me. Well, I was going to say it in the advert, so I won't say any more. Thank you everybody for watching, and big weekend for the Dearly Departed next week. We will be here with the preview show on Friday. That'll be a pre-record sometime in the middle of the day, depending on how things are panning out that day. And then 2 watch-alongs for Dearly Departed. Saturday night at the movies, or on the internet. 7:45 will be West Brom Sheffield United. Monday night, West Ham Aston Villa. Can't wait. Can we please get more than 1 point for our 5 teams next week? Woo! Over and out. It's going to be better next week, I promise. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button to see more videos from this channel. Hit the subscribe button, and to be notified every time we upload, ring the bell for those notifications to come through on your device. If you really want to support the channel and me as a content creator, I will be eternally grateful if you head over to the merch store and grab something, or support over on Patreon, patreon.com/Benjamin Bloom. Thank you for your time. Go and watch another video.